Well, welcome, Mayor Milo. Thanks very much for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
We're very excited with the launch of LaPorte County Life to help you and every organization really in LaPorte County communicate what's good that's going on. I wanted to start off with your 8 months into the run. Tell me a little bit about some of the things you've learned, some of the groups that have maybe embraced your passion. You bring a very energetic energy to things. Tell me a little bit about what the first 8 months has been like.
Well, it's really been a treat to work with all of the people that are either part of the administration or the leadership across the community. That's what makes my job not only easier but a lot more fun. That we're able to accomplish a lot of things because of the teamwork effort that goes into all of the different aspects that we're trying to impact within the community. With not only the nonprofits and the religious organizations and the schools, but the department heads as well. And it's been enjoyable from a leadership standpoint and from maybe almost a sociological standpoint to look at some of the different personalities that come to the table that really they bring a different background, but everybody's focused on the same mission of improving the city, improving the community and quality of life, and making these different initiatives happen. And they've really done a fantastic job, and I couldn't be more pleased to work with this team of folks that I get to every day. So that's a really enjoyable aspect. And starting out at the beginning, you look at a number of the different initiatives that you want to achieve, and it can almost be a little overwhelming that you see all the things that you want to have happen for the community. But you kind of break it off one day at a time, and exactly, piece by piece, baby steps, as I think Bill Murray would say, that you just take it one day at a time and one goal at a time. And now I look back 8 months into it and think, we've gotten a lot done for 8 months already. And so you just want to keep the push on the entire time. That I've always had the mentality you never really want to get comfortable in a job, and so that's why we'll keep the press on with all of our different initiatives. And I enjoy my job, on most days,
yeah.
with any different job, but I like the challenges of it. I love working with Laportians and just trying to improve the community. That it's a neat opportunity to really have to benefit this group of people that have meant so much to me in my life. That I'm born and raised from LaPorte, and they've meant so much to provide the opportunities that I've had. And so I really enjoy getting to give back a little bit and now see what we can be doing as a community.
There's a certain energy, not just physical energy, but communication energy that you've brought to things. Tell me a little bit about some of those initiatives, whether it be the Fit Friday, whether it's really developing downtown, getting people involved with some of the activities of redevelopment and economic development in LaPorte. Touch on some of the things that you've
Sure.
launched there.
Sure. Well, I can't emphasize enough the mentality that I have of really incorporating a team aspect, and not just the team of department heads, but a team from the community. And so that's where that communication piece is vital to having success across the team. And especially when you're dealing with a group as large as an entire community, then you have to try and access them in whatever medium then is going to reach them. And I've been very pleased with the social media response that we've had. I really enjoy the dialogue that we have, the discussion, that it is like having a conversation with people across the community. And some of my leadership principles have been that when you provide the large picture, the tools that everyone needs to understand what the mission is, that really, I guess, enables folks to be able to contribute in different manners that I may not have even anticipated. And so I think that's where we're seeing almost a snowball effect with the different programs that we're doing, like Fitness Friday, that when you start with a positive program and provide an opportunity for people to see positive things happening within the community, that then sets off almost a tidal wave of other ideas of things that they may have. And it just creates a positive energy amongst people that they like getting out in the downtown, that they like being around their fellow community members. And that's where we're seeing a lot of the success, because we're really trying to focus on that positive communication and energy. And that's why I think it's great to be able to work with you and everything that you're doing with LaPorte County Life and Valpo Life and Portage Life, because of the focus that you have across the region on trying to improve things from a positive standpoint. That there's enough negative things that exist out there.
They're easy to find.
Exactly.
You got to actually just look, and the positive things are honestly just as easy to find.
Exactly. And when you focus on the positive, then it's often surprising the number of benefits that can come from it.
You mentioned social networks. I would say among, we watch a lot of people throughout the region, whether they be organizations, businesses, politicians. I would say you're a leader amongst those in terms of your use of social media in a really social sense or in a communication sense. Mm-hmm. Many, I think, look at it as a broadcast network, and they say, okay, I'm going to pump a bunch of messages down this pipe. Mm-hmm. You're probably, I would say, among all those that we look at in Northwest Indiana, the leader among really communicating with those people, number one, from your own voice, but number two, really communicating with them, asking their input on things, looking for direction on things, and touching on not always the easiest subjects in the world, and being willing to get that feedback and communicate. Tell me a little bit about that learning process and why you think it's important to engage them.
Sure. Well, all of it comes from my, I guess, philosophy towards government and my philosophy towards my involvement and decision to run, that I think that we can do things in a better manner than government has operated in the past. And not pointing my finger at any specific individual or any party or any entity, that folks have gotten kind of frustrated with how government can operate, because we'd like to see it be a little more responsive. And so I kind of look at it from an approach of, if I'm talking to a community leader, or I'm looking at what's going on in the city, what are the questions that I would have, and what is it that I would like to see happen better? And I try to ask myself that question every day of, what is it that I would be wondering here? What is it that I would like to see happen differently? And that's where we've tried to have that engagement with people through Facebook, to incorporate their voice as well, because it is a collective mission that we all have. And I don't think that I have the best answer to every challenge that's out there, and that's kind of what I enjoy about the job, is that not only do I recognize that, but I really want to get the ideas from other people, because they may see things from a different angle than I would. And I'd like to see that happen more at every level of government, that we were fundamentally founded on the idea of deliberation brings about the best results. And I often get frustrated with some of our political system these days, because it's gotten so partisan that you can't necessarily have that fruitful deliberation, that you look at many different sides of an issue, and then by evaluating all of those different sides, then you come up with the best solutions. And that's what we try and incorporate through the use of social media, by talking to people out in the community. That when people email me, I email them back, and I actually email them back. I don't staff it out to somebody, although now I'm a little wary. Now I'm going to get flooded with emails, so I try to email people back in a timely fashion. But I guess that's,
as basic as that sounds, it's actually very unique. I think people are almost akin to not expecting to really talk to you, or not expecting to necessarily get a very communicative answer. They're really expecting to get a little bit more party line answer. And what I've been impressed by is not just your engagement with those folks, but your communication of, hey, if you got a question about this happening or that happening, there are some rationales behind that, and here's what they are. I'd like you to be more informed of it. Now, if you have any other questions, I'd like to hear those too.
Right.
And it's not a model that's been actively followed, but I think it's one that's got active engagement.
Well, I think that the statement cannot be made that our administration or my administration is not responsive or doesn't listen. That we work very hard to make sure that we incorporate every sentiment that comes across, my desk, whether it's through email, through Facebook, through the phone calls that come in to my office. That I think we're a little different too, in that my assistant answers the phone and tries to actually get an answer to people, and she works very hard to make sure that somebody doesn't call in and she doesn't just say, oh, well, we don't deal with that, that's the county.
That's Public Works, or that's the county.
Right.
Good luck on that.
She'll say, even if it is a county issue, actually it's the Board of Commissioners that make that decision. If you'd like to contact them, here's the phone number, here's their assistant, and so here's how we can be helpful. And that's what we do across the board in every department in the city, is that I want to make sure that we're having that response to the community. That I think that is one area that government can operate better as a business, and kind of look at the constituents being like our customers, and we should improve customer service. And so if somebody comes into the office, whatever office it may be, whether it's the water billing office or the parks department office, that if they come in and say, I want to do X, Y, or Z, maybe that's not something the office handles. We don't just give them the response of, that's not us.
That's not my job.
Yeah, and I think that happens a lot in government. I worked at the federal government for a long time, so I know it happens. And it's so frustrating being on the receiving end of that, okay, so if it doesn't happen here, then where do I go? Can you help me, please? And so we do a lot to try and make sure that we're getting people pointed in the right direction if they're not in necessarily the right location. And that kind of feedback comes through all of the different interactions that we have. And ultimately, I want to make sure that we're a more responsive entity, because we can do better. Our system is built to do wonderful things for a society, and the impact that you can have when you have good government, not necessarily big government, but good government, is tremendous and wide-reaching. And so that's I guess where you see some of my passion as a government nerd, that when you can focus your efforts in a positive manner and really respond to the challenges that are out there, that you can impact so many different areas.